Hi, Al. Well, this is the second take. The first one was 9 minutes, and all I could hear was the wind blowing outside. I'm at my antique shop, and there's traffic out here, so I hope that doesn't disturb it. I've been thinking about your question, and I listened to your video several times, and it seems like the big question is, what's up with this prayer thing? Great question. Okay. I'm not going to give you a bunch of theological stuff, Bible verses, but there is one verse I have to say up front. It's Philippians 4, 6, and 7. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, make your requests known to God, and the peace of God that surpasses all understanding will guard your heart and your mind. Now, the rest of this is just personal reflection, and I was not a Christian. I was a non-believer for 40 years, so I kind of see both sides of the debate. And I would always hear my wife say, she was a Christian, and whenever there was trouble, she'd always say, I have to pray about that. I found that quite humorous. You know, what's up with that? I had the same question you did. But after 10 years or so, I seen a peace from her and some prayers that were answered that were kind of unusual. And anyhow, one day at the age of 40, I found myself at an altar call. Not quite sure still to this day how I ended up there. I didn't go there. I went there to make my wife happy. That was my Jesus thing for the year. Anyhow, I went, and I struggled with the prayer thing. I had great doubts. I never really prayed much. I would say the Our Father who art in heaven. That was it. And the funny thing of it is, one day we got the terrible news from my wife. She had breast cancer. And we were going to the doctors, and she knew I wasn't a praying person, especially out loud. And before we went in the doctor's office inside the car, she looked at me and said, would you pray for me out loud? And I remember the shock that I had. But this woman had cancer. So I mumbled something. I don't know what I said. And ever since then, if we forgot to pray in the car, we'd be walking down the hospital. You know, all the times you got to go there for tests and MRIs and all the stuff. We'd just pull over right in the hallway. We'd say a prayer and park there. And there was a time when I started developing a relationship with God, a serious one, a serious commitment. Trying to understand who was this God. And I always had to, in my mind, I have two choices. We evolved, we came from nothing, or there is a God. And even my early years as a Christian, that always went through my mind, and I thought, they both seem unbelievable. How can something come from nothing? And how could there be a God that always was? Well, through a series of commitments of seeking the Lord, the evidence started to mount. And I'm getting off, going down a rabbit hole. Let me climb back out of that hole. In regards to your prayer thing, I ended up at our church. I have the Tuesday prayer group. I have prayer concerts. I'm a prayer intercessor after church service. People know me as a praying person. They come to me all the time asking for prayer. And I've come to see answered prayer. And a lot of people write that off to coincidence. That's okay. Sometimes it may be a coincidence. But when I had cancer, that Philippians 4:6-7, I never really stopped and analyzed the end of that where it says surpasses all understanding. Because if you've seen my one video before surgery, I'm laying in a hospital, there's no doubt I was having a good time. I was laughing, I was joking, I had no anxiety whatsoever, none, zero. And that's when I thought about that verse, it surpasses all understanding, the peace of God. There was no earthly reason how I could go from a phobia of doctors to zero. I mean, I keep saying this over and over to everybody now. I can't explain it, but I can. It's a God event. I just can't explain it. I've had three I'd say interventions in my 18 years as a Christian, and that was one of them where I just know it. I just know it. There's no way I could go through what I went through with no anxiety. And there was a moment, there was a day, hours actually, where I had an issue. I'd like to elaborate on that someday. But anyhow, that's the short and quick of it, buddy. And I have a question for you. You mentioned you're a spiritual atheist, and I've heard other atheists talk about spirituality. I'm just curious. Is that spiritual part, is that something within you that you have, or is it something outside of you, like nature or earth or something? It's just, I'm just curious. And thanks for the conversation, Al. I appreciate it, and I wish you good well. I hope you're healthy. I really do. And I think I should end it here. Okay, see you, buddy.